what is this thing called mindfulness, and why do we care about it, and what can it do for me? What can it do for you? So mindfulness is being in the present moment non-judgmentally. So that means I'm bringing myself to be in the moment now and to notice what I'm noticing and practice. It's a practice, doesn't mean it's always perfect. Practicing being non-judgmental about that. One of the things that I think is especially important is that being in the moment non-judgmentally allows me to be open to infinite possibility. Rather than knowing what is, or how something is, or how it will be, I can choose to be present in the moment and suspend my judgment so that I might become aware of some other way of seeing something, some other way of feeling about something, some other way of behaving in the world. In addition to that, the broad strokes are that our central nervous system, when we meditate and practice mindfulness, whether we're in the act of meditating or just being in our day, moving through our activities, our jobs, our relationships, mindfulness allows our nervous system to be in a more settled way rather than being in a flight-fright response. So what that means physiologically and psychologically is that if I'm in a flight-fright response, I have an elevated heart rate, I have constricted blood flow, I have attacks on my immune system because my adrenals are releasing cortisol and adrenaline. And even if it's not like on a scale of 0 to 10, even if it's not a 10 reaction, it still has an effect on our bodies and our brain chemistry. And neurologically, when we're in that response of flight-fright, we're in our primal brain. And so the prefrontal cortex, which is in the front of our head, where we actually do our reasoning thought, where we do our high thinking and problem solving, when we're in flight-fright, that gets shut down. So a lot of times what I'll notice is when I feel like there's only two ways that something can go, like it's black or white, or it's this way or that way and they're both bad, then it's a cue to me to know that I'm in reactivity and I am in a response which is creating dis-ease in my body. Sometimes that shows up as heat. Sometimes it shows up as some body sensation or pain that can come back. Like, you can have a part of your body that might have an injury or discomfort, and when you go into the stress response, you feel it more. Has anybody noticed that kind of thing? So that's an opportunity to do what I call as a pause practice, P-A-U-S-E. Our breath is the thing that ties into our nervous system because that's the way we were made and designed. The first thing we did when we were born is what? We took a breath. So when we breathe and we watch the breath, like we did that little practice here at the beginning, when we just followed the in and the out breath, we didn't try to change it. We just noticed when it was a pause at the top or a pause at the bottom. That practice is a pause practice. So that's one. Another one you can try is something called square breathing, or there's other names for it, but inhaling to the count of 4, holding to the count of 4, exhaling to the count of 4, and holding. And I'm not a psychologist, so I can't give you that kind of, guidance. But if somebody has panic disorder or they have a tendency to get, worked up about things, the square breathing is a really simple, and it's not strenuous. Like, it shouldn't be really hard, even if your 4 seconds are shorter than actual 4 seconds. Just your count of 4, whatever that is. So that's a pause practice. Another one, it's called earthing or grounding, going outside, even if you don't have grass, going outside and being on the earth, on the dirt or the grass or the snow, and just feeling a sense of where you are between heaven and earth. That there's space above you and there's space below you. And if it feels good, you can do those, you could do square breathing and that standing, or you could just follow the in and the out breath without trying to change it. And so these pause practices are designed to be, it could be a minute, it could be 5 minutes. It doesn't have to take a lot of time. A lot of people think, oh, I don't have time to do this. It's like, well, I'm going to say I think you don't have time not to do it. Because our life, my life, depends on that. The quality of how I can be is going to affect my health, my relationships, and my, health is including mental and physical. So all of these things are, I think, so important. And the reason that I got into studying meditation and practicing was because I had anticipatory anxiety, because I was always an overachiever and I always needed to fix everything and make sure everything was perfect. And it was really hard to do that. And then at some point there's a breaking point, where you're just like, you know what, I'm done. I need a break. I can't take it. No shame and no blame. A lot of us cope with those things with different habits and practices that might not be so constructive for us. We're designed to figure out a way to cope.